And you just go like that.
Okay, here we are in the beautiful park here in Taiwan, and we're going to be talking about some of the other choices within Asia for moving your money and your family out of your current prison country.
now, be nice.
And going to some other country for freedom and an actual life rather than just existence. So here we are. Where should we start? Which country should we go for?
Oh,
leave Taiwan till last. We're going to go for that in a separate video, but we're just going to look at the other countries of Asia.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about Taiwan last. When we in another part, like part 3, and but I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I've lived in Asia, for over 13 years now, and I've traveled throughout Asia since 1990, and I've been to a lot of these countries, and some of them are great countries, to visit and maybe vacation for quite a while. I mean, Thailand to me is one of the best countries in the world for that. I mean, if you want to talk about beautiful beaches, great food, cost of living, then I'm going to, Thailand's a must. Vietnam's another one. Vietnam is now a country that's up and coming. It's where Thailand was maybe 30 years ago. And, lots of people are going there.
So again, yeah, like short term, like vacationing, or kind of you're a single guy going there for 3 months, 6 months, like paradise, right?
Absolutely. But I mean, when you're talking about a safe haven, then you're not, quite a bit different. And I mean, if you're talking about safe havens and you're talking about countries, so like, let's say if you divide the countries into sort of like economics, like let's say you take, for example, let's say you take Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore.
Yeah.
And you have a family and you want to use one of these countries for a safe haven and, move everything there. I mean, I don't know about that either. I mean, if you take Japan, for example.
If you're moving your money to Japan, I think you've been drinking a little bit too much.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's going to be drinking a little bit too much radiation.
It's going to be a bit too much sake.
I mean, that economy is going to collapse. And I mean, they've got economic problems there up the yin-yang, and I mean, if people even think of going to Japan,
then
good luck.
Then you probably visited in the past too long and you were irradiated. Yeah.
That's definitely off the list. Hong Kong, I think Hong Kong,
great, expensive.
The banking system, I think, would be solid.
Yeah, tied into China, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. But cost of living through the roof.
You need to have money to to get in there and sort of hang out in Hong Kong. I mean, Hong Kong might be a good place to get and put your money in, and then go to live in another place in Asia. That might not be a bad plan.
That's a good option. But yeah, for anything other than the short trips, it's very expensive unless you're like the owner of some oil fields in the Middle East.
Well, same with Singapore. I feel Singapore. Jimmy Rogers is down there. He's got his kids down there learning Chinese, and he is saying so many great things about Singapore. But I've been to Singapore 14 times, and not, like I said, not because I have to. Not because I want to.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Well, because I fly through Thailand. I've lived in Thailand for, over 8 years and that. And, I mean, to me, Singapore, to me, is like a hidden military state. And if anybody goes into Singapore, they're going to feel this throughout the people. So, the whole island, to me, is kind of a little bit fake. It's just like a mud mound, and they've had to build everything in there. One family runs the banking system and the shipping, and they have certain strict rules. And I think, if people are going to go in there and think about, a place like Singapore,
You've got to like rules. You've got to like rules, and you've got to like abiding by them.
And you've got to want to pay to like those rules.
You have to pay for the privilege.
Exactly. I mean, to rent a place over there would be nothing less than $1,500 US a month to rent a small place. It's like living in New York.
Yeah.
But you get your palm trees that they bring in, ship them in from Indonesia or Malaysia.
They brought them in for you. They brought some extra mud in for you. But I mean, I'm sure there's some great points for there. But I mean, if you're leaving one place where freedom's kind of not very popular, and freedom's on your list, you want to be living free and to choose, make your own decisions. And Singapore, really.
New York with an Asian twist.
That's it. I mean, New York with more palm trees and mud. So yeah, it really shouldn't be on your list.
Absolutely not. Now, like the other countries, like if you take now let's talk about maybe South Korea. I mean, South Korea is sort of somewhere in the middle in there. And, like, to me, if I'm comparing, like, if you could, like, the middle countries for me are Taiwan and South Korea. If you're looking at them for a safe haven, because, I mean, it's not expensive.
Yeah.
They have a certain amount of freedom, and you can live in these countries with a cost of living that would be definitely comparable if you're, coming from a Western country. But in South Korea, I've been to South Korea, and if I'm comparing it with Taiwan, it's not even close.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're not going to get to Taiwan yet, but it has many of the same things with, South Korea has a lot more downsides to it. Which, everything from, the weather to the sort of
the food,
the openness of people there compared to Taiwan or other countries in Asia. It's not the warmest place in many ways.
Yeah, it's like maybe there's a saying about San Francisco. How cold the weather is. Well, I think Korea would be in that boat, and I don't want to say the people, but it just seems that when I'm there, I don't get
that's the thing. There's nothing
feeling, and they got lots of rules there. They got more rules there.
They like their rules. They do like their rules. So yeah, it's worth investigating, but I certainly wouldn't put it anywhere near
your top.
My top, which we'll get to later. But yeah, it's worth looking at. It's definitely a better bet than Singapore.
Well, if I had to choose Singapore and Korea, I would have to take South Korea because I just haven't got that kind of money.
Yeah, that's it. And just being in a draconian police state isn't top of your list. So.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's go to the other tier. If we group,
we've got Vietnam, Thailand,
Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia.
Okay. Well.
So what do you think about those? I mean,
Indonesia, I think, for the same sort of reasons for basically Malaysia, Indonesia, I'd say, hey, it's cheap.
Yes.
But the scenery is great.
Yes.
But there is, you go and visit, you'll find out there's an atmosphere there.
Yes,
there. You land,
I've been there.
And it's like always Monday morning feeling. You know what I mean?
Serious work, a little bit upset.
Yeah. You ever worked in an office where it's Monday morning, it's rainy outside, it's like, January, so you've just had Christmas, you've got a whole year of drudgery ahead of you.
Not that bad, is it?
I'm summing it up here, but people can, there's a feeling of like a cloud over this place. And yeah, it's nothing you can quite put your finger on, but you go there, you'll feel it.
So you're saying, like, if you go on their vacation, great, but if you got to live there, it's a different thing?
Yeah, I think you vacation there, you might be in a resort, or you're kind of on your own schedule, your own itinerary, and you've been jeeping around the place, looking at all the great stuff. And it's cool. It's an experience.
Safe. It's safe. Do you think it's safe? Like if you had to move a family, do you think it would be?
Oh, I would have concerns definitely about Indonesia.
Where in Indonesia?
Well, this is the thing. I mean,
Jakarta.
No way. And though there are other safe areas, it's still a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah.
Just like the southern Philippines, the southern islands of the Philippines is a little bit unpredictable. There's still troubles going on. There's still Philippine Marines going in there.
Southern Thailand's got the same problem.
The same issues. There's some of the same groups. And I see it often. Philippine Marines going in there, Marine Recon going in there, and they're like going on live missions. You know, locked and loaded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Indonesia has that political uncertainty too. Like, what do you think about the banking system?
Well,
and throw in Vietnam. So Vietnam, take the Philippines, Indonesia, and even Thailand. What do you think about that?
Thailand, Philippines. Let's going to go with them first. Big U.S. influence.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I wouldn't want, I mean, the U.S. is chasing people all over the world for their money.
And they can catch them in Thailand.
You don't live here, you don't work here, you pay your taxes elsewhere, but we want you to pay taxes to us as well. So if they're chasing people around the world and you want to get away from that, I think you're going to be asking for it if you're in Thailand or the Philippines.
Absolutely.
They'll be coming after you, and those guys are going to say, hey, yeah. Here's your, here's your U.S. citizens. Well, how much do you want of them? So yeah, I wouldn't trust being there for those reasons. I think the infrastructure is maybe slightly better than Indonesia in terms of government and the banking. But I wouldn't want the money in the Philippines.
Yeah, I would never.
Indonesia. I wouldn't want it there. I really wouldn't want it there.
Yeah.
Vietnam, I see as many good points, but
still not stable.
I wouldn't trust the money.
Well, I mean, the thing is I've lived in Thailand, and I've had a business there, running a deep sea fishing and a diving company in Phuket for about 8 years, and I mean, like I said, I think Thailand. If I had to compare Thailand with Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam, I think I would take Thailand. But then Thailand's banking system is corrupt. You have to sort of know people. You have to have money to pay people, to grease to get what you want.
The groove, yeah.
The rules can change there, and as we mentioned before, if there's any sort of a problem, you have to pay.
That's it. So, I mean, let's just sum that up now then, really. So, if we're looking at those countries, so as an overall, Thailand, Vietnam kind of float to the top for me of those countries just in talking
without even bringing your money.
That big aspect of
living there.
Banking, just for being able to have a life there. Yeah, they might be more relaxing, just feel more at home in those places. But still, you've got those big issues of the banking problems. And from way behind, after those two countries, come Indonesia, Malaysia, maybe Philippines coming in third place there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, should we leave it there, and then we'll go on to our next discussion, which will be on Taiwan.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.